What's up guys, Matt back again with another unboxing video, and today we're going to be unboxing the new Blood of Saiyans Ultra Instinct Goku. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. This figure is based on Son Goku from Dragon Ball Super. The figure seems based on this art from Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. This is a Blood of Saiyans special release, which are Band Presto Crane figures of Saiyan characters with metallic/glossy hair finishes. This figure sells for an average price of $30 on the market. If you're interested in buying the figure for cheap, then use my discount code Peaches24 at bashmancollectibles.com to get 10% off of your first order and 5% off of every future order afterwards. This figure was released on April 11th, 2024. Goku stands at about 5 inches tall, weighs 8.9 ounces in box, weighs 5.2 ounces on his own, and the figure comes with his upper body, lower body, and support. Alright, Blood of Saiyans. I've actually been looking forward to this figure, but upon first look, he looked pretty awesome. But now having him in person, I have some pretty constructive thoughts. By the way, if you guys are hearing some background noise, we have like flood warnings and tornado warnings right now in Texas. So if you hear that, my apologies. I will do my best to get that noise out of there. But without further ado, let us dive into this review. UI Goku, man. People talk about, hey, we don't get Dragon Ball Super figures a lot. We've been getting some here and there, mostly in the crane figure department. The last time we got Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball Super figures was, I believe, October of 2023 within an Omnibus Kuji, which was superhero themed. So it was almost all superhero last year. So that is a little disappointing, and I will say, you know, having Ultra Instinct Goku within Blood of Saiyans, we've had the Ultra Instinct sign very early on in Blood of Saiyans, and it took like 4 or 5 years before we got Mastered Ultra Instinct, which is pretty cool to see, but we've had so many Ultra Instinct figures, and I'm just kind of tired of Dragon Ball Super figures being pretty much only Goku and Vegeta, and it's either Blue Goku and Vegeta or it's Ultra Instinct Goku. I would prefer to see some variety, so I don't hate it, and it's, you know, the mastered form for the first time in Blood of Saiyans, but I would prefer to see other Blood of Saiyans or characters in general from Dragon Ball Super within the figure world in general. So I will give his character choice a 4 out of 5, mostly because of all those facts, you know, scrunched together. His likeness is pretty fantastic. I think he looks perfect in the face. I do like the way that they sculpted his mouth. It looks very well done. His face is, you know, shaped nicely. They give you those little anime lines for details above and under his eyes. And of course, his eyes look very well done. They don't look painted on. They almost look like stickers almost, but they're not. They're not stickers, or I could be wrong, but you know, I'm not trying to say they look cheap, but it's not as like highly detailed as say like an Ichiban Kuji figure, but he looks really good. I think they did a fantastic job on his face. His likeness is perfect, and I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. Probably one of the best looking crane figure Gokus in terms of likeness. I think they did a fantastic job. Sculpt quality, it's okay. Obviously, the big glaring thing is he's not on a base, which is fantastic. Very happy to see that, Bandai. But he does have this big, ugly white support for his foot, which is so funny because like the early photos of him, there's that one of him amongst all the rocks. Maybe I'll put it on the screen here somewhere. But he has no support in that photo, so it's almost like a little misleading. Like, oh, he's maybe not going to be on a base, and maybe he's not going to require anything. This thing definitely needs the support to stand up. He's too balanced or his weight is too far forward, so he's just going to fall forward if you don't have the support on. So unfortunately, you are going to have to stick that ugly white base on him. And there are just some little things amongst the figure that, you know, are, you know, you can tell that it's a cheaper quality figure. Like on his right knee, there's the tear that's happening right there, and you can see that there's like a seam that separates it, almost like the tear coming out is separate from the pants itself. But other than that, it's still pretty solid. You know, it looks fantastic. His hair sculpt is really well done. The muscles are very well defined. You see little scuffs and scratches all over him. I'm actually going to say, hey, if you guys aren't subscribed to my buddy John's Hobby Room, he does awesome custom Dragon Ball figures and repaints them. And John, I think this figure would be a magnificent project for you to work on in terms of repainting a figure. With all that being said, you know, the sculpt quality is pretty good, so I will give that a 4 out of 5. Really, the big issue is this stupid, ugly white support that's on his foot, but that's standard with crane figures that don't require a base, so I would prefer that over the stupid base that's always connected to them. Paint and shading, though, like I just mentioned, John, you know, you did a fantastic job at taking figures with like no paint and shading or no shading and making them, you know, really pop. This one's definitely a contender for that. So while the hair I think is really well done, you know, Blood of Saiyans does the whole metallic hair thing, and I think Ultra Instinct is one of those forms that lends itself really well to doing that whole metallic hairstyle. So that really does pop on the figure. And while he is very bright, I don't really think there's technically any paint on this figure. I think most of the colors that are coming from this figure are from the plastics or PVCs used to sculpt them, and you know, and then they sculpt around it. So like his pants, for example, are orange, but I think the material was already orange that they used, and then they, you know, they sculpted it and turned it into his legs. That's what it looks like to me. Nothing really looks like it's been painted other than his hair and his eyes. So it just looks incredibly flat. It's even hard to see the details like the scratches and scuffs that are on him because the lack of shading and paint that are on this figure is very apparent. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it just falls so flat. So it does kind of bother me to look at it. So I'm going to give paint and shading a 3 out of 5 simply because, yeah, it's just so flat, man. I wish it really popped out a lot more, but yeah, it just doesn't because of that. And another thing that really disappointed me, the worst part about this figure is his size and scale. He is so freaking small, man, and that is just so disappointing because he has so much potential. He looks really cool in a lot of areas, but he's so small. It's so pathetic. You know, he's not going to scale with pretty much any figure within Blood of Saiyans. This might be the smallest Blood of Saiyans figure I've ever owned, and I've had and reviewed most of the series. This guy is almost, you know, like Gotenks, I think, might be a little bigger in scale than this guy. Not in height, but jeez, dude. I don't really remember. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, but this is pathetic. It's so bad, and I wish it was just a little bit bigger, like an inch, 2 inches bigger would have been great for this thing. But geez, dude, why is he so small? It's just not acceptable. He's not going to scale with Blood of Saiyans. He's not going to scale with like any figure. He's just so small. It would be awful if he was like Gashapon size, but you know, he's not that bad. He's not like the end of the world bad, but he's pretty bad. So I'm going to give size and scale a 2 out of 5. Super disappointing, especially for a figure at this price. But yeah, even though this will be part of my personal collection for now, I'm maybe at this point, I'm kind of hoping the Super Saiyan 3 Blood of Saiyans Goku is much better. And I might end up replacing this guy. But you know, I think there are a lot of good qualities about him, but just too many things disappointed me. So unfortunately, I will have to walk away and give this UI Goku a 3 out of 5. Thank you all again for watching today's video. But before we move on to the upcoming giveaways this month, I'd like to mention my new merch that's launched. We've got shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. If you want to support me a bit further and rock some of the merch on the channel, please check out the shop tab on my channel. But until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.